We're all familiar with that phrase, do one thing a day that scares you. But why? And what does it really mean? Fear can push you to do amazing things, or it can paralyze you. The Sigma is known for accomplishing great things, but that's because he turns fear into success. And doing things that bring him some level of trepidation and anxiety come pretty naturally to him. So in this video, we're going to explore the question of why the Sigma does something scary every day, and what benefits come from doing so. Fear is not a bad thing. It does serve a very real and crucial purpose to keep us safe. It's a natural biological response, but it's not always helpful when it comes to personal or professional growth. Vincent van Gogh once said, "If you hear a voice within you say you cannot paint, then by all means paint, and that voice will be silenced." A fantastic quote that can spark creativity, but also a formula that can be applied to overcome many fears and doubts and even phobias. It means you are far more capable than you give yourself credit for, and for most of us, fear and doubt prevent us from achieving the things we really want to. It stops us from doing the things that will bring us happiness and allow us to reach our full potential. The Sigma male lives by Van Gogh's words, and just like the rest of us, he has that little voice in the back of his head, the self-saboteur who pops up now and then to try and convince us that we are incapable of doing something or shouldn't do something for one reason or another. But the Sigma doesn't listen to that little voice. The self-saboteur is a bully and it gains power when you obey it. But the Sigma, honestly, he doesn't give it the time of day, and he does everything in his power to do the opposite of what it tells him. This is how courage and bravery is built, by pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. And we see that courage manifested in the Sigma male. It's part of what makes him Sigma. He lives his life according to Albert Bandura's concept of self-efficacy, where he tends to approach difficult tasks as challenges to be mastered rather than threats to be avoided. This means he focuses on his previous successes and accomplishments that allow him to believe he'll have a similar outcome in the future too. Our prior life experience will usually dictate how capable we perceive ourselves to be, so it's far more beneficial to focus on the positives. No matter how scary they might be, the goal-orientated Sigma relentlessly sets himself challenges and dedicates himself 100%. He's not scared of failure. He knows that he can acquire the skills or knowledge easily enough to succeed next time. So he spins it into a positive and grows from it, only bouncing back stronger. Because when you're not scared of failing, what is there to be scared of? This way of thinking encourages personal achievement, lowers stress, and increases confidence, one of the reasons why the Sigma is less at risk of depression compared to other personality types. Whereas most of us consider fear as a response to something we shouldn't do, the Sigma sees it as something he probably should. His self-aware, reflective, and logical nature will always weigh up the pros and cons of every eventuality, and he'll think through the worst-case scenarios just in case. This happens to be an approach favored by most behavioral psychologists. You could consider the Sigma somewhat of an emotional scientist. Rather than shut down or ignore the things he finds scary, his natural curiosity drives him to listen to himself and to be curious about what it is that makes him afraid. And this works in two ways. He either finds a new way to see those fears, or he realizes that there actually isn't anything to be afraid of anyway. The Sigma always takes the time to consider the potential consequences of the things he does and plans to do, and how he'll deal with them if they arise. He does exactly the same thing with things that make him afraid. What outcome is he most anxious about, and really, what is the worst that could happen? Facing fear head-on is the only way to move forward, to grow, to learn, and the Sigma takes it all in his stride. You can't have success without failure. And a lot of the Sigma's success largely rests on his perseverance to weather the storm come what may, even if it does end up being the worst possible outcome. Because he's prepared for it, he'll get through it. This is a typical practice of successful entrepreneurs and has been coined productive paranoia. The only mistakes you can learn from are the ones you survive. We know the Sigma personality type is likely to give way to entrepreneurial qualities. The Sigma prefers to work for himself and by himself wherever possible. But despite this independent creature of solitude, the Sigma makes a fantastic leader. And one of the reasons this holds true is because he doesn't allow himself to be intimidated by the idea of failure, and instead he considers it often. Instead of surrendering to fear, he lets it guide him. And that is what leads to real results and success down the road. The Sigma does something scary every day because he likes to expose himself. Not like that, but what I mean is he has a habit of exposing himself to difficult situations intentionally so he can learn from them and prepare himself for similar situations that might occur on an even more intense scale. And this is rooted in psychology too. We are able to manage and gradually reduce the fear response, even eliminating it altogether, if we repeatedly expose ourselves to those less than comfortable experiences. Anxiety, fears, and even phobias can be significantly reduced through exposure. The Sigma caught on to this at a very early age, and ever since, he's used the power of exposure to continue becoming a stronger, more successful version of himself every passing day. The Sigma is also a man who likes to be in control. When we obey that little voice of fear, we lose control. To regain it and find ourselves back in the driver's seat, we must expose ourselves to those things that terrify us. And the Sigma male does this very well. That's why he's so composed, so calm and collected, and above all, so in control. Don't forget too that the Sigma male is a risk taker, and a lot of risk comes with some element of fear and apprehension. The Sigma thrives on a bit of risk and danger. He prefers to live life on the edge, but what's helpful for this is that he takes considerable time to measure up and evaluate the risk itself and the possible consequences. Every time he does something risky, he becomes even more confident and learns more about himself. Taking risks also makes him more open to the idea of facing whatever fears he experiences. He frequently exercises his risk muscle, and with that he develops his confidence, his self-assuredness, resilience, and capability to rise above and smash whatever goal he sets for himself, even if it's scary. Do you think the Sigma regrets the things he does? Of course not. Only the things he doesn't do, which rings true for most of us. Regret is not a nice feeling, and the Sigma wants to avoid being filled with a dozen regrets in his later years. He doesn't want to be the one that holds himself back. He doesn't want to forever wonder, what if? Sigmas are often referred to as natural-born survivors, but the truth is they've developed this incredible survival instinct over time because of their propensity to actually do the things that scare them. Instead of hiding under the bed covers when facing an uncomfortable situation, the Sigma tears off the covers and is reactive to the fear. He works through it and trains his body to react effectively in times where the danger or threat is very real. Self-improvement is a priority in the Sigma's life, and that comes with working on flaws, owning up to mistakes, and learning about his unique coping mechanisms. This is achieved by confronting the things that scare him head-on, and doing so every day to really work on improving himself for the long haul. Not many people get things right the first time, and the Sigma is no exception. But even when he messes up, he continues to learn and challenges himself daily, which counts as practice. And practice really does make perfect. And the more that you do the things that scare you, the less likely you are to be scared of them in the future. The Sigma knows there is no one like him, or anyone else for that matter. Everyone is unique, sure, but how many people believe that the world needs them and their voices? How many people are willing to do the things that they're afraid of to better themselves or better the lives of others? The Sigma fully believes that if he can make the world a better place for himself or for his loved ones, then whatever the outcome is from doing that scary thing in question was totally worth it.